All right, everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. You know those tiny things? We can't even see viruses. They might be microscopic, but they've left a huge mark on history.
Absolutely. Just think about the pandemics, the Spanish flu, the
Yeah,
Black Death.
exactly. And even today, look at COVID-19. Talk about something that brought the world to a standstill.
Right. It's crazy how these things, smaller than a wavelength of light, can cause so much chaos.
So let's unpack this a bit. What exactly are viruses? Are they even alive?
Well, that's where things get interesting. They're not alive in the traditional sense. Think of them like little packages of genetic material, DNA or RNA, all bundled up in a protein coat.
Like a blueprint.
Yeah, exactly. But on their own, they can't do much. They need a host cell to really get going.
Okay, so they need to hijack something to do their thing.
Exactly. They invade a cell, take over its machinery, and force it to start making more viruses. It's like
A hostile takeover.
yeah, you could say that. And that's how they spread and make us sick. It's a pretty sneaky strategy.
So it's all about replication for these guys. But here's a curveball. While I was prepping for our deep dive, I came across something pretty fascinating. Some viruses can actually be beneficial.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about bacteriophages.
Bacteriophages.
Yeah, these viruses, they specifically target bacteria. It's like they're little assassins going after the bad guys.
Okay. The name does sound a little ominous, I have to say.
I know, right? But what they do is actually pretty cool. They inject their genetic material into bacteria and then basically make them explode.
Oh,
Yeah, and that's why scientists are getting so excited about them, especially with all the problems we're having with antibiotic-resistant bacteria.
so they could be like nature's antibiotics.
Exactly. They hold a lot of potential for treating infections that don't respond to traditional antibiotics.
That's incredible. Why aren't we using them more then, if they're so promising?
Well, it's still early days for phage therapy. One of the big challenges is finding the right phage for the right bacteria. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution. And then there's also the issue of resistance. Bacteria can evolve to fight off phages just like they do with antibiotics.
So it's kind of like an arms race.
Yeah, in a way.
Yeah,
But the potential is definitely there. It's an exciting area of research.
for sure.
Wow.
So we've talked about how viruses can be bad for us and how they might even help us fight disease. But they're not just limited to humans, right?
Oh, absolutely not. They're everywhere. And they play a huge role in ecosystems all over the planet.
That's what I find so fascinating. It's like this whole other world we rarely think about. So how are they essential to the ecosystem?
Well, for starters, they can regulate populations, keep things in check by infecting and killing organisms. Then there's the fact that they can transfer genetic material between different species, which can actually drive evolution.
Wow.
And believe it or not, they even have an impact on the planet's climate.
It's amazing how these tiny things can have such a big influence on everything.
Right. It just goes to show that we're still just scratching the surface when it comes to understanding viruses.
Yeah, it's not just about avoiding getting sick. It's about appreciating the role they play in the grand scheme of things.
Exactly. And who knows what the future holds? As we learn more about viruses, we might discover all sorts of new possibilities, maybe even ways to harness their power for good in ways we can't even imagine right now.
It's mind-blowing when you think about it. Viruses, they're not just the villains of the microscopic world. They're complex and fascinating, and they're an essential part of life as we know it.
I couldn't have said it better myself. And as our understanding continues to evolve, who knows what challenges and opportunities lie ahead.
Well said. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into the world of viruses. It's been a fascinating journey.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure to explore these topics and share what we're learning.
And for all of you listening out there, keep those questions coming, and we'll see you next time for another deep dive into the world of science.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.